Good morning, everybody. It is 6 a.m. for me, so excuse the raspy voice, but we're going to be talking about exploration without execution and why that leads to stagnation. And I feel I'm somewhat qualified to speak on this because I used to be that person. I would explore like 10 different things and execute a grand total of zero of them. So that's what we're going to be talking about today in this video. And the reason why, so execution or exploration without execution is just a short, because I want to explain it first. It's just a fancy way of saying, like, you have all these crazy ideas, you have all these different things that you're trying, but you're not doing any of them. Maybe you're watching different videos, right? Maybe you're watching dropshipping videos. Maybe you're watching growth operating videos. Maybe you're watching like agency videos and you haven't picked any of them. So you're just watching just to watch. And you're like, you know what, this might be the business model. And then you watch a dropshipping video, you're like, no, this is going to be the business model. And so you're just exploring without executing. And you see people making all this money and you don't execute. Or maybe you do have a business model, but you're exploring like how to do outreach. Because trust me, there's a million and one ways to get your first customer, but only if you're consistent, which we've talked about on a few videos in the past on this channel. But you explore different ways to get your first customer, right? You explore doing outreach, you explore doing emails, you explore doing like Twitter inbound, YouTube inbound, ads, whatever. You explore all these different things and you watch all these different videos, but you never actually like execute. And by execute, I don't mean like, okay, let me buy the domains to send the emails or let me create the accounts and optimize my pro. No, I mean actually executing, like actually doing the essence of the thing that you need to do, which is actually sending the DMs. And like I said, or the DMs, the outreach, whatever. Like I said, I have fallen into the trap before. This used to be me. I used to be the person who I would, do all these things, move at the absolute slowest pace possible, and tell myself, give myself excuses for why I could not move faster, and give myself excuses for why this is good enough. And obviously, it led to stagnation. And the reason why it leads to stagnation is because, like I just implied, you're literally moving at the slowest pace possible. The absolute slowest pace possible. You're watching all these videos, learning how, people do this, how people do that, and then you're going to take your time. You're going to go deep on a subject that doesn't need to be like deep. You're going to go deep on like optimizing your Twitter page. And even though like that has a little bit to do with it, that's not everything. What has more to do with it is just sending good outreach. So you go deep on those things and eventually nothing happens. Eventually, you know, you optimize the profile, you do a few other things here and there, and then you just don't make any posts. And eventually the one action, the one main big action that you're supposed to take kind of dies out because you're procrastinating it for whatever reason. And then you kind of get stagnant because in your mind you've given yourself all these reasons as to why it is that you cannot in fact do the thing that you were in fact supposed to do. And then you start from the beginning. And I've seen this pattern in myself, and I see it in other people. I see it's almost like the New Year pattern, right? It's like it's like the New Year's resolution pattern. If I had to give it a name, that's what I would call it. It's the New Year's resolution pattern where people have all these things they want to do in the new year. They have all these goals. And so, you know, at the start of the year, they're just going to be like, "Hey, in the new year, I want to lose 20 pounds." And then, which by the way, good news, I'm down like 10 pounds now since the start of the year, which is fucking insane. But anyway, in the new year, I want to lose 20 pounds. And then they get to the new year, and now they start, maybe they go to the gym once or twice, right? But then they get into this world of supplement stacks and protein powders and pre-workouts and all this stuff. And maybe they end up convincing themselves that, hey, if I don't have my pre-workout today, I don't know if I can do my workout. And then maybe they end up convincing themselves that, you know what, this pre-workout that I have is not like conducive. It's not the best pre-workout for me to be able to do my workout. So maybe I need to get like a different pre-workout. So now I need to get a different pre-workout, because if I don't have my pre-workout, then I can't do my workout. And then they end up just like prolonging the times that they go to the gym, and they just don't go as consistently, and then eventually they just kind of fall off. It's the same pattern that I'm describing here. So if you are, or if you feel stagnant, because it's used like, I feel a duty to make these videos to help whoever is out there going through what I used to go through just a short while ago. So if you feel like you are stagnant, because I definitely felt like I was, right? And stagnant doesn't mean that you're not at a good place in life. You can be making money and still feel stagnant. You can be, getting straight A's or something and still be stagnant, because maybe you just don't feel like you're being challenged. You don't feel like you're growing as much anymore as you used to, which at the end of the day is the point of this whole life thing, is to literally put your best self out there and be your best self. Get squeeze the most out of yourself as you possibly can. And so if you feel stagnant, I want you to now be cognizant. And by the way, if you can hear I have a space heater under my desk because it is freezing. But I want you to ask yourself, what is it that you have been exploring and that you have not executed on, right? And it doesn't even have to be something to the sense of like many things, many different aspects that's like splitting your attention. But there's something that you want, there's something that you've been looking into that is, you kind of have, like, if you're like me, you have this feeling, this inkling, this like almost like you can taste it, like it's your destiny, but you just haven't been able to bring yourself to act on it. And the first step is to become aware of that, and aware of that being the reason why you are stagnant. And the next step is to ask yourself, what are the defining actions that I can take to pull me out of this stagnation? So, for example, for me, it was sending outreach. If I sent outreach on a regular basis, and I made YouTube videos, not these ones, but for my business channel, if I sent outreach and I made YouTube videos, then I'm actively pulling myself out of that stagnation, because I'm putting myself in the eyes of my prospects and my customers. So for you, it could be something different. For you, it could be going to the gym every day. For you, it could be tracking your calories. It actually is that for me too as well, in terms of my health, which, like I said, down 10 pounds, happy about it, but still have a lot to go. I'm trying to lose a lot more, so we'll see. But yeah, it could be like tracking your calories, tracking your workouts. It could be like 5 hours of deep work where you study a chapter a day for school. It could be like hiring operations so you're not the main person in your business. It could be making YouTube videos. It could be anything. There's a lot of different things. But you need to ask yourself, what are those defining actions? And you need to be honest with yourself. This doesn't work if you're not honest with yourself. And ask yourself, what's the defining actions? And your next goal is to build consistency with those actions. This is just the simplest way to do it. But I just did a video, I think yesterday, maybe a few days ago, where I talked about these things, consistency, because it's been on my mind a lot. Because I think I understand it now, but I made a video where I talked about these things. So if you want to watch it, so you can kind of like get it, then go to those days. But you want to build up consistency with these habits and these things, and with executing. That is the main thing. You want to execute and execute consistently. And when you break your streak, when you fall off your horse, you need to get back on and keep going as fast as possible. Because it's important to remember that in life, the richest people, they fail a lot and they fail fast. So if you're not failing a lot, or you're not failing fast, or you're not failing fast, then you need to go back to the drawing board. And once you have done this, and you've done this for a month, like me, I'm directly speaking from my experience. Life starts to look a little bit different. Life starts to look a little bit more exciting. Life starts to feel a little bit more like a game. And life starts to feel a little bit more like a game that you can actually play and win. You know, everyone's playing their own game, but it makes it a little bit more fun. And so that's what I would challenge you as a viewer to do in this video. Anyone can be stagnant. You can be making no money and be stagnant, and you can also be making, like 50K per month or whatever, 10K per month, and still be stagnant. And the cause behind that is because you're not executing, you're not pushing yourself, you're not living up to your potential, you're not challenging yourself. Life is supposed to be full of challenges and, you know, different things that make you wonder and act in different ways, and that shape your mind in different circumstances. And if you're not getting that, then you're holding out on yourself. This whole soft life movement that I've seen on the internet, it's it's a utopia, and it doesn't exist. And it would be nice, obviously, just like how it would be nice if unicorns and, a pot of gold at the end of every single rainbow was real. But like, soft life is not real. And even if it is real, the soft life does not shape you into a person who deserves the nice things that they have in their life. And it does not teach you the lessons from life that you need to learn. So I will leave it there. Ask yourself these questions. Tell yourself these things. I have my answers for these questions. I hope you have yours. And I'll see you in the next video. Really quick though, link in the description for a private free community for founders who are obsessed. If you're interested, link below. And I'll see you in the next video.